By the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain thermal equilibrium. Explain how a liquid in glass thermometer works. Why did he move his hand away? How does his hand feel? Will his hand feel the same temperature in both cases? The boy takes his hand away from the kettle because the boy feels the heat of the kettle. Why? When the boy's hand touches the kettle, energy enters his hand because the kettle is warmer than his hand. When the ice cubes are in the boy's hand, energy from his hand flows to the ice cubes, which is cooler than his hands. What can you say about the direction of energy transfer? Energy is transferred from a hot object to a colder object in thermal contact. This energy is known as heat. The SI unit of heat is joule or J. Temperature is the physical quantity that tells us how warm or cold an object is. Temperature is measured in degrees Celsius. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Block A is hot and Block B is at room temperature. What will happen if the two blocks are in direct physical contact? Click on the Start button. What happens to the temperature of the blocks? The temperature of Block A decreases and the temperature of Block B increases. Why? Heat transferred to B increases the kinetic energy of its molecules. We can say that there is a net heat transfer from the hot object to the cold object. What happens to the rate of heat transfer after some time? After some time, heat is transferred at the same rate between the two blocks. The net rate of heat transfer between the two objects becomes 0. The temperature of Block A is equal to the temperature of Block B. The molecules of both objects have the same average kinetic energy. The two objects are said to be in thermal equilibrium. Baked Alaska is a dessert consisting of ice cream on a sponge cake base covered with meringue. Why doesn't the ice cream melt when it is placed in a preheated 230 degrees Celsius oven? The baking time for the dessert is normally not more than 2 minutes. When the dessert is baked, the meringue on top and the cake base are in thermal equilibrium with the hot air of the oven. The meringue, which consists of egg white, and the cake, which consists of air packets, are poor conductors of heat which protect the ice cream from melting during the process of baking. When food is placed in a refrigerator, why does the food remain fresh? The food stored in a refrigerator releases its heat to the cool environment in the refrigerator. The temperature of the food decreases until it becomes equal to the temperature of the refrigerator. Once thermal equilibrium is attained, there is no net transfer of heat taking place. Thus, the food is maintained at a desired temperature and kept fresh. A doctor uses a thermometer to measure a patient's body temperature. There is a difference in temperature before and after the measurement. Why? When the thermometer is placed in the patient's mouth, There is a net heat flow from the patient to the thermometer until thermal equilibrium is achieved. The mercury in the bulb expands when temperature rises, moving up in the tube, thus increasing the length of the mercury thread. A liquid in glass thermometer uses the cubical expansion and contraction of liquid to measure temperature. There are 3 different types of liquid in glass thermometers: mercury thermometer, alcohol thermometer, clinical thermometer. Let us see how a thermometer is calibrated. A scale and unit of temperature are obtained by choosing 2 temperatures: the melting point of pure ice and the boiling point of pure water, called the fixed points. The range between the fixed points is divided into a number of equal divisions or degrees. The lower fixed point is obtained using ice. The length of liquid is marked on the thermometer. This length represents 0 degrees Celsius. The upper fixed point is obtained using boiling water. The length of liquid is marked on the thermometer. This length represents 100 degrees Celsius. If the divisions are not marked on the thermometer, the temperature of a substance can be determined in this way. If the length of the liquid caused by the substance is L theta, the temperature of the substance can then be determined using the formula. However, in most of the thermometers, the length of liquid between the 2 fixed points is divided into 100 equal divisions, and each division is a degree Celsius. The thermometer is calibrated and ready.
Container A is filled with hot water, and container B is filled with cold water. The 2 containers are connected by a hollow tube. A thermometer is placed in each container. The readings of the 2 thermometers are recorded. What happens to the temperature of the water in the 2 containers after some time? After 23 minutes, the temperature of water in container A equals to the temperature of water in container B. Why? Thermal equilibrium is reached and there is no net heat flow.